All right, y'all boys, we back with another video. So it's that time again. Sukuna has basically dropped on global and is this is as far as most global players have planned to summon for their summoning priority. Everybody already kind of knew since the beginning of the game, okay, just save for like the anniversary characters and Sukuna. Now we're past that point and people are curious to what is the next goal. I'm already seeing a lot of people who are asking who they should save for next and who should they summon for. And don't worry, you guys, you already know, as me being a player who plays JP and global, I got you guys. I'm going to tell you exactly who you want to get and what is the most value. So we're going to keep it, very short and sweet, simple as we can. There isn't many characters that are left to release. Global is only like about 3 months behind the JP version. So that means that we're not too far off from actually having all the characters and being kind of synced up, I guess you could say, to JP. Now, my criteria is based off of performance and requirement in tower, as well as how future-proof they are. If they don't change the schedule of banners, the next character that will release is Green Miwa. I don't think I even have to explain this. She is a straight-up skip, absolutely garbage. Miwa is just going to always continue to get shafted just because they want to place her in a kind of like unique playstyle, which unfortunately for her just doesn't work out for in this game so far. I could be wrong in the future, but currently as it stands, the way that she functions and plays just isn't really that good. So yeah, unfortunately, Miwa, typical, that is going to be a skip. Now, after that, we're going to be getting Koichi Muta, probably butcher his name, whatever. He's an amazing green DPS. In fact, I would say he is an SS tier DPS. Now, however, as you might know, the recent release of Honor Gojo absolutely erased any reason to summon for him. He literally does less damage at 5 dupes than a 0 dupe Honor Gojo. And yes, we did have people test this, especially with, having the statistics, the stat board that you're able to see after you finish a fight. This definitely helps you kind of see the difference in numbers. So yeah, unfortunately, he's a lot less valued than, Honor Gojo. And yeah, this basically means Muta's going to be more relevant on global within like 2 months after his release. So yeah, unfortunately on the global side, you're definitely not going to want to aim for Muta. I'd say realistically, you should probably skip him considering who we're going to be receiving in the near future. All right, so after we get Muta, then we're going to be getting the red Toge, so the newest Inumaki. Now, he is quite a weird case. He is pretty good on paper when you read everything that he can do, and the only SSR curse technique and physical technique debuffer for red types. He brings decent utility. However, in practice, he just really isn't that used. His debuff costs too much curse energy and he's quite squishy, so you don't really use him too often, especially in the newer floors. I would have to say, in my personal opinion, he is a big skip. Now, followed by red Toge. This is going to be very important, right? When we move on from here. We are going to be receiving the yellow Shoko. Now, this one, ladies and gentlemen, is an absolute must pick up. She's literally omega broken for the yellow team. Having her and not having her makes such a big difference in high tower floors. You literally have no idea. Of course, it's possible to beat them without Shoko if you don't mind resetting 100 million times. She makes your life so much easier, and she's super amazing and very future-proof, and she's like the most simple healer out there while also providing a bunch of utility for your team. I would have to say, in terms of priority, Yellow Shoko should be everybody's next priority for the global side, right? So she is definitely a must-have. She's just amazing by far. By far, one of the best characters I'd have to say that has been released on the JP side, at least until Honor Gojo. Now, followed by Yellow Shoko is going to be the Blue Maki. I would say she's decent, very useful on floor 74 since it has resistance to Jujutsu attacks. However, her overall performance as a DPS is just mediocre and realistically not worth it. You don't really get too much value out of her aside from like that one floor. So I would kind of just say you should probably skip her, especially when most people already kind of pulled for Sukuna. You don't really necessarily need her, so she's definitely a skip. Then after that, we are going to be getting the Mommy Meme. Holy, I already fucking lost. You guys already know how I feel about Meme. I absolutely adore Meme, but she's basically that's who all the real motherfuckers are waiting for. You already know. But jokes aside, I'd say that she's not really doing too well in the new tower floors compared to the other red DPSs that we do have, like Yuta and of course Toji. So I just don't feel like she's going to be as of value as the others so far, unless we get something that kind of brings her up. So I would say she's a skip. Most people should already have Toji. He's in the standard pool, and Yuta, a lot of people already kind of aim for him at the start of the game. So you won't realistically need to forcefully go out of your way to get Mei Mei. She doesn't do anything significant that makes her a lot better than the other two. So I'd say that she's definitely a skip. Then after that, we're going to be getting Takomao. So he is also like Mei Mei. He's very good, but unfortunately just doesn't perform that well on tower, considering how he ramps up and builds up, and you have to take many actions. He's more of a character that does a lot of consistent damage over the course of the entire fight, but he doesn't really have that survivability. Also, especially for those who have Sukuna, he's definitely a big skip. Even if you don't have Sukuna, I would even say that you probably still shouldn't go for him, because you're probably better off with Jogo, who's a free-to-play character that everybody has access for. So yeah, Takomao is definitely going to be a skip as well. There's definitely a lot of other blue options that you can use. One in terms of limited, being Sukuna, and then one in terms of free-to-play being Jogo. Those characters are just much better. They do more not consistent damage, but they do more damage overall. And Takomao is more of a ramp up consistent type of damage dealer, and it's just not that good for bosses that have like 40 million HP, like a lot of HP basically, and he's just fucking there hitting them for like 1 mil, 2 mil, like each turn. It's like, bro, you're gonna be there for quite some time. So honestly, I just don't feel like he's not gonna be that good, especially when those enemies are hitting you extremely hard. They're hitting you extremely hard. You want to do as much damage as possible, kill out those mobs as quickly as possible. He can't do that. And then here we're going to be going to the pinnacle of DPS. That's going to be Honored Gojo. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to say that he is not a must-have. Yes, he is absolutely OP and busted so far, but we have Green Yuji, who has been very sufficient in clearing tower floors up to literally tower floor 80 for the green stages. So if you really want to be stingy, or if your luck is absolutely garbage, you will have to skip it. So basically what I'm saying is you don't necessarily need to say he's not a must-have, because you're able to complete a lot of the content just using the Green Yuji, because he's been tearing through those high tower floors, but so good. This fucking character has aged so well since the beginning of the game, especially with all the buffs and everything. He's tremendous. He's amazing. And just because of that alone, I'm not going to put in Gojo, or Honored Gojo, in the must-have, because there's other characters who can help you clear the content, which obviously Green Yuji can, and he's standard, and everybody should have him at this point, and with multiple dupes. That's the only reason that he's not a must-have. If Green Yuji wasn't as good as he is now, we would put Honored Gojo in the must-have, because he's by far stronger than all the other green DPSs. He's stronger than Green Yuji as well, but obviously with Green Yuji, you can clear everything still. So that's the only reason why he's not a must-have. I just want to put that out there, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, what? He's not a must-have? He could have been a must-have if it wasn't for the fact that you can do it without him. You can do the content without him, because Green Yuji is just that good. Now then, we're going to have Team Shoko, who's going to be the final character of JP that has released. She came out basically like about last week or something. She's a must summon, just like Yellow Shoko. In general, limited supports just have a higher value and longevity than DPSs. Look at Mutsu's case. He's amazing and was definitely worth summoning for when he first initially released, and we didn't know what was to come. But now the power creep of the new era of DPS is so high, Mutsu's value hit the absolute rock bottom. So it's just like, it's either him or Green Gojo. And it's like, well, yeah, you might as well have Green Gojo. So yeah, DPSs, they shift out very easily. That's how power creep works. It's very hard for like utility and supports to kind of get shifted out, because they kind of try to make them unique. And as you can see with all the supports that we have, like we still using like characters like Blue Ghetto, Blue Inumaki, Domain Megami. We're still using a lot of these old supports, Blue Momo, all these characters that have been here since like nearly the beginning of the game, and we're still using these characters to this day, because they age a lot better than DPS characters. DPS characters get filtered out very easily and very quickly. So yeah, Mutsu, as you saw, he's in skip tier because we have Honor Gojo already. You're able to easily clear every single green floor with a decently invested Green Yuji. So I would have to say that she's also a must-have. Like, for some reason, they just really love Shoko, and Shoko has like both of these Shokos are just tremendous. They are definitely must-haves when they come to Go. They have the support, they have the utility, they have the healing, they have all of that. You don't really have too many healers in this game, and what I mean by that is all the Shokos are healers. So They give you the survivability that you need for the high tower floors. They give you utilities by buffing your team and making you do more damage. It's like that's what you want. You want to do more damage. You also want to have heals to survive longer. They're realistically the characters that you want to have when you're playing a lot of the content. So they are must-haves. Honored Gojo is only very worth because, like I mentioned before, you're able to clear the content with, of course, like, you know, Teen Shoko and then the Green Yuji. So if you're aiming for Teen Shoko, you know, obviously you don't need the Honored Gojo because Teen Shoko will help your Green Yuji be able to do everything. So yeah, that's the only reason why Honored Gojo isn't a must-have. He can clear everything, right? Makes him powerful, but there's other characters who could also clear everything too, who are weaker. So that's the only reason why. But yeah, anyways, that's basically going to be everything. Hopefully this guide or, you know, whatever you want to call it, helps you understand who you should be going for in the near future. I personally think these are the prime targets. I don't think anybody can convince me otherwise. I've already played with all these characters. I already know what is being used the most. These are the characters being used very often in these high tower floors, both of the Shokos and then obviously on Gojo. But there's also a lot of people who are using Green Yuji to be able to do it as well. So yeah. And then everybody who's in Skip is like, nobody's fucking using these characters. Fucking nobody's using them in the high tower floors. So yeah. Anyways, I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.